Hey, good afternoon, family. Shalom. Bless you today. This is Brother Steve back with another video. All glory and praise goes to the Most High God of Israel, Ahaya, Ashur Ahaya, Ba'ashem Yeshaya, Wawa Kadesh. Brothers and sisters, I'd like to talk to you today and share an experience with you. Brothers and sisters, I want to talk about today, briefly, about the unseen hand of the Most High God. And when the unseen hand brings correction when least expected. When the unseen hand of the Most High God brings correction when least expected. Brothers and sisters, stick with me. Listen, I'm going somewhere with this. Objectively, I want to convey the miraculous hands of the Most High God and how He brings correction in our life, circumstances, and situations. And I'd like to share this story with you because I think it's pivotal. I think it will bring some level of thought, and perhaps it will remind you of the invisible and unforeseen hands of the Most High in Christ takes care of when we least expect it. Let's get on with the story. Brothers and sisters, when I was in college, and I'm not I'm not afraid to talk about these things because you all know I believe in a level of transparency. And I think time to time, I talk about history, talk about the Bible, edify, exhort. I do all those things, but you all know that I also like to share experiences that I've been through, real life experiences. Now, this is not going to be an experience of trauma, although it is, but not to what I'd call a magnitude or a level of chaos. Where it led to complete failure. But this story that I'm going to share with you is going to exemplify and show that through difficulty, the Most High worked a situation of mine that I had years ago. So, brothers and sisters, when I was in college, like I said, y'all know that I'm from the city of Detroit. Y'all know I attended Wayne State University. Okay, Wayne State University, for anybody that knows the city of Detroit, that's essentially it's one of the largest public universities in the country. Okay, it has about 50,000 students roughly. It's a research-oriented university, and I did my undergrad studies there. Okay, so brothers and sisters, at that time, I used to live on campus, and at that time, I lived in at that time, which was the mid 2000s. It was I lived in an apartment complex that was considered at that time the best of the best. I was a student athlete at that time. I played college football and all that, and like I said, I went to school and I worked at that time probably 2-3 jobs. So, brothers and sisters, at that time, because I was always busy and always on the go, constantly moving and back and forth. Well, those of you who know what it's like to attend a university in a major city, most of these universities or institutions, they have issues with parking. Okay, parking is really, really hard to come by. So, brothers and sisters, basically, I lived in this building, and the parking was always limited. It was limited parking, so I had a very, very difficult time trying to find places to park. And you already know that if if in a lot of these universities that are in major cities, downtown metropolitan areas, that if you don't have or pay for what you call a university parking pass monthly, it can be very, very expensive parking your car on the street. Okay, so over the course of time, I I would pay, I'd park my car on the street, but during that time, uh, the fact that I was working two, three jobs at that time, work study job, working with the city of Detroit as an intern. Uh, well, even though I had money coming in, it was just never enough. And basically, being a full time student athlete, it presented its challenges. You know what I'm saying? So let me just get straight to the point. Brothers and sisters, I had got to the point at that time where I had got tired of paying expensive fees to park my car on the street. And I can remember vividly that, it was almost like, you know what? I was always strapped for cash. I was getting frustrated. I couldn't find parking spots half the time. So basically, I took the approach of parking where I wanted to park. Well, brothers and sisters, it backfired. So my attitude was, the hell with it. I'm gonna park my car where I want to park. And mind you, at that time, I had a Toyota GTS Celica 2-door hatchback. Uh, nice, nice car, very, very nice car, beautiful car. Those Toyota Celica GTS hatchbacks, they're sports cars, they're very fast, and I had that in college. Okay, um, so I got to the point to where I just had stopped paying for the parking fees on the streets. I wasn't putting money in the meters. I wasn't about to sit up there and pay for no monthly parking pass to park in the structure in the building I was living in because I just couldn't afford it. So over the course of time, I ended up parking I ended up parking in no parking zones. I would park essentially in front of the my apartment complex. Essentially it was a tollway zone, and it's interesting because at that time, the tollway zones that I parked in, the people that ran the apartment complex for student housing, they knew it was my car. They never towed it. They never reported it. Um, but they knew it was me parking there because they'd see me get out, park there, and just leave it there. I'd go up. So I guess you could say that I was careless. I was careless, and I started not to care. And, well, the parking tickets started to rack up. Now, mind you, brothers and sisters, at that time, uh, the accumulation of tickets that I received in a matter of a 2-year process, uh, it increased to about, well, probably $5, 6, $7,000 plus interest. So I kept doing that. I kept operating with a nonchalant attitude. I didn't care, and the tickets just racked up, and they accumulated. The fines accumulated. Um, I just didn't really care at that time. I didn't really care because I was frustrated about the parking. I was frustrated about paying money, and in order to get some level of relief, I, in my immaturity at that time, um, I took the position as I just take care of it when I get the money. But you know something, brothers and sisters? I never did. I never did. And lo and behold, I remember coming out the apartment coming out my apartments, going down to my car, and my car had it had a boot on it, a boot. Now, those of you who know all about the boots are essentially they're devices that they put on either the driver's side, either the front driver's side tire or the passenger side tire, and those boots stop you from driving your vehicle. So they had put one on, right? Now, mind you, I had to contact the City of Detroit Municipal Department. I had to make some level of arrangements. I had to basically talk to somebody, and I had to pay a fraction of what I owed, which was a lot of money at that time. Once again, we're talking about $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. I had to pay a fraction of that. I really don't remember the percentage, but I did have to pay something for them to come and take the boot off the car. So I paid the fraction at that time. I was kind of pissed off. Now, you would think, brothers and sisters, after all that, I would have learned my lesson, right? Well, I still chose to make decisions by doing what I wanted to do at that time. Because I feel like I was on top of the world. I was full of pride. I was worldly. College this, college that, football, academic, all this other stuff. Well, lo and behold, brothers and sisters, I remember going down, leaving that building on another occasion, went down, and at this second time, the city of Detroit had decided to tow my car. So I was stuck without my car. Well, I got notifications. I had to go to court. And I'm going to be honest with you. To be without a car at that time was very, very difficult. It was rough. But through the grace of the grace and mercy of the Most High God, I was still able to get around, get certain things done. I had guys I went to play football with and would drive me around, this, that, and other, and so I could get around. I think during that 2 or 3 month process, where I didn't have my car, I started to think, I started to get myself together. I still had my job on campus, but I wasn't taking care of those parking tickets. Make a long story short, this is what happened. Went to court. Now, mind you, I had a job with the city of Detroit at that time while I was in college. And I remember meeting with this gentleman. And this gentleman basically, he was in a high-ranking division within the municipal parking department with the city of Detroit. So I'm in court and I'm talking to this brother. And I asked the judge for leniency. The judge allowed the brother I was dealing with, who was the representative of the municipal department of Detroit. Well, I talked to him and I asked him, I said, hey, what can I do to get my car back? Brothers and sisters, when I met with this guy here, he had sunglasses on. So I couldn't see his eyes. And essentially, he was really mean, very, very stern. Very mean and stern. And now here it is. I'm expecting him to have some level of leniency with me. Obviously being in college, this, that, and the other. Well, nah, he didn't have any leniency. But I'll tell you, this guy was extremely mean, very stern. And essentially, he wouldn't listen to the plea. In fact, I got to the point where I was begging to get my car back because I wanted it back and I needed it. So it didn't go my way. He wouldn't budge. and he told me to pay the full amount due, which I didn't have. Okay. Time goes on. I leave court. I contact the minister of the department again. I speak to him. He asks me to come down. I come down, and I have to sign some level of a promissory agreement to make payments. So when I went down to sign this promissory agreement to make payment arrangements to get my car back, well, lo and behold, this guy is down there, the same guy that I had to see in court. And this time I'm down here in his business, in his place of work, his place of employment, trying to make arrangements, right? So after the promissory note was signed, I remember vividly him telling me, like, listen, I can't let you have your car back because the city needs its money. So I'm like, well, you guys promised that if I come down here, sign this promissory note, I could get my car back. Well, brothers and sisters, lo and behold, I found out that the city didn't have my car anymore because it was sitting at the Impound. Now, when I went to the Impound, in terms of where it was located, I did see my car there. But this guy had told me that the city of Detroit has sold my car. They auctioned it because of the time that went by. And the thing about it is they had no right. When I found out, brothers and sisters, that this guy that I was dealing with, he actually had the authorization and authority to sell the car, which is what he did. Now, mind you, this guy here, he was mean, he was stern. He didn't care about me being in college. He didn't care about me having jobs. And the promissory note that I signed, it was all for nothing. So y'all can imagine, I was pretty upset and I was very, very angry. I couldn't understand why he had done that. So let me fast forward a little bit. I received a letter from the city stating that I could go down and get my car, right? I could go pick it up from the impound. Well, went down to the impound, time went by, the car was gone. It was gone. So when I got down to the impound, the guy told me to go back to the municipal department, go talk to this guy. Went back down. I asked to speak to him. And the lady told me that the guy was not working there anymore. He wasn't there. Well, I asked him, well, how could I get in contact with him? Well, the lady told me that, sir, the guy died. He died. So when she told me that, it shocked me. And then I remember another lady coming from the back, another lady that had took his position. I can remember her telling me that the guy that I had to deal with originally, he really messed up a lot of people, and he put a lot of people in bad situations, bad predicaments, and he hurt a lot of good people who, although it was their fault, needed their car. And he sold cars, he did a lot of legal stuff, but all I can remember from that guy was the fact that he had his sunglasses on. He was really mean, real stern, and I just couldn't understand someone at one point who was in my position. He went to college. I'm sure he made his mistakes, but he couldn't give me that level of leniency. Even with me signing the promissory notes for him, it wasn't enough because he already had made a premeditated decision to sell my car to make the city of Detroit government money. Well, he died. Let me explain to you about the unseen hand of the Most High and how this all correlates with the story that I'm trying to convey and tell you. Over the course of years, I carried that burden. I carried that financial debt on me. I even lost my license in the process. Couldn't drive for a while. So by the time I was able to address the financial debt, it had reached almost $17,000. $17,000. Brothers and sisters, I just didn't pay that. And that $17,000 was due to the interest. Because it was an old debt, and because interest, the city of Detroit taxed interest, I just let it go. I let it go. Until one day, I went down to the 36th district, downtown Detroit, and I goes up to the window. I asked the lady how much it was going to cost for me to get my license, this, that, and the other. Well, and I anticipated her telling me something crazy, some astronomical figure. So we're talking about a $17,000 debt. Brothers and sisters, that $17,000 debt did not exist anymore. I think I had to pay a little bit under $1,000. I got my license. I got everything. I got my stuff back in order. And when I looked at the lady, I thanked her. And she looked at me. She said, "Sir," she was like, I don't think you understand. At the time, she was like, "I don't think you understand how much of a blessing you just got today." And I mean, I'm up there I'm happy, and I'm thanking her. So I paid the money, got my license, and I was straight. Brothers and sisters, the unseen hand of the Most High God brings correction when least expected. Because I was in a situation where I needed my license. And that $17,000 debt, well, I didn't have it. But the blessing was that $17,000 debt was removed, and I had to pay a little bit under $1,000, and it was done. So for 10 years, I carried that $17,000 debt. 2005, 2015, that's 10 years. I carried that debt on me, that stress and that worry. It goes to say that his ways are not our ways. When the Most High God states that my ways are not your ways, believe it. Some of you are dealing with some of them same situations right now. You're waiting for the breakthrough, the clearance. You're looking for alleviation. The Most High God shows up. His unseen hand shows up unexpectedly when you least expect it. Brothers and sisters, y'all keep the faith. Sometimes you just have to be still. Sometimes you just have to You have to say, peace, be still, and let God. Peace, be still, and let God. Let the Most High God move it. Brothers and sisters, I just wanted to share that with you. It's always a privilege. Love you. Shalom. This is Brother Steve, and I'm out. God bless. Y'all stay up. Peace.